Rob, you mentioned entrepreneurship a couple of times and the simple startup. I mean, that's all about entrepreneurship. Just to take a step back. So the course that we have live now is basically allowance and then using that as a foundation to teach about spending, income, and credit. The second course that is in production, which I was doing live in Miami, is basically entrepreneurship through the lens of a lemonade stand and using that as the foundation to teach about investments. So huge on entrepreneurship, even if it's this one lemonade stand, but super in-depth experience so kids can extract all that they possibly can from that experience. So just heaps of love on the entrepreneurship. Julie is massively entrepreneurial, as are her kids. They've each had different businesses and they just, from different brands that they've launched and making bracelets and selling them. And so we love it. But you love it, maybe the same reasons, different reasons. Like, why are you so passionate about that? And what exactly do you do with the Simple Startup to help kids and why?
Okay, so a couple of things in here. Why I love entrepreneurship. When I started learning about personal finance, I started with Dave Ramsey, and that was very much getting in control of the money you currently have. Cutting down expenses, getting rid of debts, having a budget, all of those things that are great for the average person. Like many people in the financial independence community, though, I felt like I graduated from Dave Ramsey at some point where I was like, I got control of what I have. How do I build wealth? And the financial independence community was where I really found that home. And financial independence is that point at which you no longer have to work for money to survive. So like you have enough money either through passive income or through your investments that you can cover all of your expenses on a day-to-day basis without needing to go trade your time for money. So you don't have to work anymore. Work is optional. And I love that idea. Like it lit me up so much, especially as like a teacher in my early career of teaching. I was like, this is really hard. I don't know how I'm going to do 30 years of this before I can get a pension and Social Security. So I wanted to take a little bit more control back, and increasing your income is one way of doing that. Like the personal finance equation is very simple. Your income has to be higher than your expenses. And then whatever gap you create between the two, you try and invest that to grow it as much as possible and then enjoy yourself along the way. So you can cut your expenses, but the lowest you can go is zero. And that's not very feasible for most people. Your income, on the other hand, can go as high as you can imagine. Like there's really no limit to how high your income can go. And that one was a very exciting one for me. Like I wanted to explore, how do I increase my income, particularly as an educator? Like there's no moving up the corporate ladder. The only way to really increase your income is to either move to a higher paying district or to put in the time, and you just level up each year with your salary. So there wasn't really a reward for working harder, or working smarter, or upskilling or things like that. So I had to look to side hustles and other streams of income to increase our income. And that was just very fun. Like, how do I do this? How do I bring in more and start covering some of our daily expenses? And then why I teach it and the birth of the Simple Startup was I had a similar experience when I was in high school. A teacher of mine, this was in Ireland, bear in mind, he ran a business class. And during that class, we had to start our own small business. It was a project that I really grabbed onto. I loved the idea, again, of creating income that I didn't have to get in my part-time job. Me and two friends of mine, we started a baking company, and we made about 500 euros over the course of the project. And that was just like, I think, such a life-changing or an impactful experience.
Eye-opening.
Like, yeah, I look back on high school and like that's one of the few things I remember doing. I'm like, that was something that is just a true highlight of high school. And I kind of forgot about it for a while. And then when I started finding financial independence, I was like, oh yeah, increasing income, entrepreneurship, that's a great idea. I started teaching personal finance, and I felt entrepreneurship belonged in that conversation. Like it's part of personal finance, it's part of financial independence and financial literacy. Here's how you increase your income. Here's how you get a job. Here's how you also add more income in, or how you do entrepreneurial things within a business. So I wanted to teach that to my kids. So I started creating resources around that, which eventually started to look like a workbook, which I turned into a formal workbook called The Simple Startup. And from there,
I've got mine right here.
From there, it published right before the pandemic kicked in. So it came out February of 2020. March 2020 happened and everything shut down. So that summer I was like, you know what, there's no summer camps going on. All the summer camps have been canceled. Maybe a kid would be interested in taking a virtual summer camp. Let's try this out. And so I just threw up an Eventbrite page, said, hey, I'm going to offer a virtual start your own business camp for 10 to 18 year olds. Would anyone be interested in doing it? And if I get 20 signups, I'll actually make the course. And I got my 20 signups, actually sold it out. And that was the birth of the Simple Startup virtual courses. So helping young entrepreneurs start their first business. So coming up with ideas and turning it into reality as fast as possible.
Amazing. So what are some of the great ones that you've seen?
It's nothing that's going to be like earth shattering. There's no like next Amazons or Facebooks coming out yet, but I've seen kids, a jewelry making business, so handcrafting jewelry. And she just posted on Instagram the other day that she hit 2,000 sales on Etsy, which like is huge for,
huge.
She was 14 at the time. She's 16 now.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah. I've had a kid who's really into photography and just took this as an opportunity to develop that skill. He did an NFT launch last year and sold $2,000 worth of NFTs of his photographs.
Wow.
That was just super cool.
But what about the personal growth side? I mean, the dollars are great. I mean, you know, we ran a fantastic lemonade, but they only made $75, but I feel like I changed their lives completely and utterly.
Yeah, the stories I hear back from parents, like when I'm lucky enough to get a story back, it's usually like my kid's confidence has gone up. They're approaching people in a different way. They know how to talk to them. They are trying new things out. Like it's sometimes, it's a very big like personality shift for kids to realize that they can take control of something like this, or that a talent of theirs is something that other people are willing to pay for. I think that's such a confidence booster for so many kids. The communication side of things, like you have to talk to people if you're going to try and sell something. So this is usually that uncomfortable moment where I'm going to ask you to go like talk to someone and ask them if they're interested in buying what you're selling, and prepping them for getting no's, but also getting yeses. And when they do start getting those yeses, you can just see that they light up. They see that, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, I can say from experience with my daughter, she had a thriving jewelry business for maybe close to a year. She's kind of fizzled off a little bit, not as much interest anymore, but she would go and take her cart at 10, 11 years old and take her wheelie cart with the table and the tablecloth and all of her beads and her money and all of it. And sometimes she sold couple $100 worth of beads. I mean, money would be flying and she'd be stuffing it. And, you know, it was really exciting. And that was awesome. I mean, it was really fun to see that. And then she would pay out 10% to her helpers, you know, so she understood that there was a cost of doing business and paying people to help her and things like that. But I also remember the days of wheeling back that cart, walking over our bridge from the sales spot when she had no sales or maybe $10 of sales and she was feeling really deflated. And I would tell her, I'm actually more proud of you today than I am when you are crushing your sales, because this is part of life. This is part of business. This is part of learning, you know, more about what to do different next time. Maybe we didn't market it enough. We didn't share the information. We didn't pick the day properly. I mean, there were a lot of things we could have done differently. And sometimes it is just what it is. There's nothing you could have done differently. But I said, these are the moments that really define who you are as a person and strengthen your character to be able to do bigger things in the future. And I just wanted to say, you know, that as part of that character building is like the good with the bad, right? It's the high dollar amounts are awesome, but so are the days of the low dollar amounts if you can frame it as such.
See, Julie, you're a damn good parent too. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, my ongoing story with my kids is like, mistakes happen. We have to learn from them. There's just so many mistakes that happen every day. But I guess,
it is, and it's like school is not that comfortable sandbox. It's like you can make mistakes in school, but we're so focused on good grades, and for better or worse, like our cultural system rewards high grades versus like starting a business, especially if they haven't put much of their own money into it, and it's a low risk business, like failure is acceptable as long as we can look at it, try and figure out maybe what we could do differently. What are we in control of? What are we not in control of? What can we change for next time to try something, see if it works. If it doesn't work, let's try something else again. I think that's probably, the most valuable part about starting a business as a kid is that there's no pressure to succeed. Like you don't need the money to pay your rent next week or anything like that. Like it's just, this is something that you're doing to learn, to try and make some money from. And it can be that sandbox where you learn about all of these different things that are such valuable life skills.